Tonight on KPBS Evening Edition, hot weather arrives in San Diego. Warnings are in effect for parts of our area. We'll have the latest forecast for the week ahead. And President Trump says he and Mexico have a deal to avoid tariffs. How Mexico plans to reduce the flow of migrants to the U.S.
It's really just a way to incorporate the community, to let them know, hey, we're here, this is our culture, we'd love you to be a part of it.
Tribes from all over the country come together in Oceanside for a celebration of Native American culture.
This is about the science process, thinking scientifically, and really following your own interests in exploring the world, because that's what scientists do. We get questions that we think we're really geeked by, and we're able to follow those questions to answers. That's what we try to do here in our summer camps and with our exhibits as well.
And we'll show you how the Fleet Science Center is blending STEM education and fun this summer, plus the special events planned to mark 50 years since the moon landing. KPBS Evening Edition starts right now. Good evening. It's Monday, June 10th. Thanks for joining us. I'm Ebony Monet. A heat wave that started this weekend continues tonight. The weather has firefighters busy. In North County, CAL FIRE responded to a small brush fire this afternoon. About 15 acres have burned near a country club in Palma Valley. KPBS reporter John Carroll shows us how people are dealing with the heat.
At Cowles Mountain and Mission Trails Regional Park, the thermometer is going places it hasn't been in months. But the sizzling temperatures aren't keeping hikers from hitting the trails.
It was pretty hard going up. I got to the middle and I kind of wanted to turn back because it got pretty hot.
Sunny Hitchcock has hiked here many times, but she admits she wasn't prepared for the weather.
I just brought this. I don't know what I was thinking. I always bring at least like I said, like a gallon of water. It is heavy, but like, hey, halfway through, you're going to thank yourself.
Hitchcock says she saw people on the trail with no water. She says one of them had a child with them. But on days like this, children and pets should not be on these trails. This is the first day park rangers have put out these warning signs. They say after weeks of May gray and June gloom, folks need a stark reminder that out here at least, the May gray and June gloom are gone.
You had 70, 80 degrees and now we're up 95. So when there's that big shift, people sometimes have a lag acclimating. So that's why we're out here.
Rebecca Smart says along with plenty of water, it's also a good idea to wear a hat and sunscreen. If you forget, there's a handy machine at the trailhead that's got you covered. Ranger Smart says if you're going to hike on a hot day, avoid going between 10 in the morning and 2 in the afternoon. Oh, and one more thing to remember, snakes.
Many people report seeing a huge increase in the snake population on trails. We think that has a lot to do with all of the wonderful rain we had this past season. So everything's growing and mating.
Along with our beautiful beaches, there are plenty of stunning examples of nature in inland San Diego County, like Cowles Mountain. But now that summer temperatures are here, it's important to be prepared. John Carroll, KPBS News.
Six Flags Magic Mountain is back open after a brush fire forced visitors to evacuate. Video from Sunday afternoon shows heavy smoke near the theme park north of Los Angeles. Firefighters say 100 acres burned. Guests were told to shelter in place away from firefighting activity. Excessive heat will continue. Aaron Calandra has a closer look at the current warnings.
We certainly are going to see some pretty warm temperatures, even hot temperatures here over the next couple of days. In fact, we have an excessive heat warning for the eastern side of our county. The deserts here, they are going to be cooking well into the 100s. So what is an excessive heat warning? Combination of heat and humidity making the temperatures feel more than 105 degrees for at least a day or two. Nighttime temperatures above 75 degrees. We're going to be in the 80s for the most part. So we qualify dry. And surviving the heat, limit your activities outdoors. If you must do outdoor activities, try doing that early or late when it's not as hot. Wear lightweight and light-colored clothing, and keep an eye on pets, children, and the elderly. Make sure everyone is staying hydrated. Did you know that in just 20 minutes, the interior of a car can reach 114 degrees? It's important to always check the back seat when you're getting out of the car. Stay tuned, and I'll have your full forecast in just a few minutes.
No new tariffs on Mexico. Instead, Mexico's National Guard is being deployed to stop migrants from traveling to the U.S. The move is part of the agreement reached by the Trump administration and the Mexican government. Mexico also will expand a program that allows the U.S. to send migrants to Mexico to wait for their asylum cases. President Trump spoke about the deal this morning on CNBC.
They're moving 6,000 soldiers to their southern border. That means the people from Guatemala, the people from Honduras and El Salvador, in theory, if they do it right, they're not going to be able to get through. Nobody's going to be able to get through. And then they're also going to protect our southern border. So it should have a big impact.
Illegal border crossings have surged in recent months. Without the deal, a 5% tariff on Mexican goods would have taken effect today. The San Diego City Council says it wants to invalidate Prop B. KPBS Metro reporter Andrew Bowen says the fate of the pension reform measure will be decided by the courts.
The council voted 6-3 to join a legal effort by city employee unions to overturn Prop B. The courts have ruled the measure was illegally placed on the ballot, but they haven't yet stricken it from the city charter. City firefighters filled the meeting room today, urging the council to work with the unions and allow them into the pension system. Attorney Ann Smith, who represents the city unions, told council members fighting to preserve Prop B would be a losing strategy.
It would be irrational for this city to rinse and repeat the arguments it has made for 7 years and have been rejected already by every court.
Councilman Scott Sherman voted no on today's action. He said a large majority of voters approved Prop B, and the city should honor their wishes over that of the unions.
They're going to try and force the city to go back to defined pensions instead of 401k plans, which is what took us to the to the brink of bankruptcy here not more than 8 or 9 years ago. But how quickly people forget.
San Diego remains the only city in California that does not offer defined benefit pensions to its workers. The legal battle over Prop B is likely to continue for a while. Andrew Bowen, KPBS News.
In recent weeks, San Diego and Imperial Beach have added new bans on single-use plastics. Now an entire country is doing the same. Canada says it's working on a plan to eliminate single-use plastics by 2021.
We took concrete steps on banning microplastics as well. A complete ban will be in effect as of July 1st this year. But as we've said, there's always more to do. That's why taking the time to get this right is extremely important, but we are moving forward on banning toxic single-use plastics by 2021. This is something that Canadians expect. It's expected to be done right, and that's exactly what we're doing.
Canada's Prime Minister says a science-based review will be done before the ban takes effect. The ban will likely include single-use plastic bottles, bags, and straws. San Diego researchers are part of a team unlocking some important clues about huge holes in Antarctic ice. KPBS environment reporter Eric Anderson says there could be implications for the Earth's climate.
Scientists saw the first massive opening in the mid-1970s when a hole the size of Oregon opened in the Antarctic ice sheet. Researchers have studied a similar event recently in the region, considered key to global ocean currents. Stormy conditions combined with an upwelling of deep ocean water to create a huge tear in the ice sheet that doesn't refreeze. Scripps Institution of Oceanography researcher Matt Maslov says deep ocean water rises to the surface, bringing along heat and carbon.
You want to be able to understand the amount of heat that's either lost or gained by the ocean. This is going to be a significant change to the ocean heat content.
Maslov says the rare event could have a significant impact on the planet's climate. Findings are published in the current edition of the journal Nature. Eric Anderson, KPBS News.
I'm John Yang. Tonight on the NewsHour, we break down the facts behind the Trump administration's latest trade and immigration deal with Mexico. Coming up at 7, right after Evening Edition on KPBS.
For $35,000 a night, tourists will be able to book a room at the International Space Station. NASA says this space tourism program will begin next year. Private astronauts will be allowed to stay for up to 30 days. They'll also have to pay $58 million for the round trip. NASA officials say generating money through tourism will help the agency meet other goals for space.
The commercialization of low Earth orbit will enable NASA to focus resources to land the first woman and next man on the moon by 2024 as the first phase in creating a sustainable lunar presence to prepare for future missions to Mars.
Only 2 visitors will be allowed per year. They will need to meet the same training and medical requirements as NASA astronauts. Schools across San Diego County are dismissing students for summer break, so we're here at the Fleet Science Center in Balboa Park to find out more about their fun and educational programs happening. And we're joined now by the museum's president and CEO, Steve Snyder. Thanks for having us.
Oh, thanks for coming out.
So can you tell us about the summer camps happening here?
So we have half-day and full-day summer camps, week-long summer camps that happen all the way through to just before school starts again. And it's an opportunity for kids to come in, spend the day, really immerse themselves in STEM, and not to have any summer slide, but have a fun way of kind of keeping up on their educational opportunities.
And how does camp here differ from, other camps being offered? As a parent, it can be overwhelming to kind of decide which programs to enroll your child in.
Oh, there's lots of opportunities, which is a wonderful thing, right? To be able to go, a lot of opportunities for kids to spend their summer. Here at the Fleet, we are really about hands-on engagement, right? So you get in, the kids get in, they make things, they test things, they try things out, and it's a great way for them to just kind of let their inner scientists run free and have a lot of fun while they do it.
Who would be the ideal kid to come here?
So our summer camps are not supposedly just for those who are really into science, it's really for anyone. So they tend to be very, very fun, very, very open-ended, very, very exploratory. So it's a great way for someone just getting into science, somebody who's really into it as well, and everybody in between.
What are some of the benefits of learning STEM in an atmosphere like this?
Well, the key thing here is that this is about doing, right? It's not about the content that you learn content. This is about the science process, thinking scientifically, and really following your own interests in exploring the world, because that's what scientists do. We get questions that we think we're really geeked by, and we're able to follow those questions to answers. That's what we try to do here in our summer camps and with our exhibits as well. As you come in, you have your question, and let's see if you can get it answered.
And camp is only one of the activities taking place this summer. Can you talk about some other exciting events happening here?
Well, we have lots of great things going on. Friday nights is our Family Friday nights. And so what we're going to do is we're open till 10 o'clock. So come in late with your family. We have special admission pricing after 6 to explore all the exhibits, pause, play, etc. We have live music out on our patio, which is a great way to spend a Friday evening. Saturday evening, it's for adults. So we have our adult recess on Saturday evenings. We're open again until 10, 21 and over between 7 and 10 o'clock, and you get to come in and play at our new exhibition, which is all about adult-sized recess experiences. So we have a 31-foot slide, an adult-sized ball pit, an augmented reality sandbox, and let yourself be a kid again in the summer here at the Fleet. So it's mazes, it's hopscotch, it is slides, it is merry-go-rounds, all with the science bent, and all for kids and adults.
And another thing happening this summer, the commemoration of the 50th anniversary of the moon landing. Can you tell me how the Fleet Science Center is commemorating that event?
So one of the great accomplishments of science and technology was actually getting a human being to walk on the moon. An incredible thing. It's the 50th anniversary this year, July 20th, and we're blowing out all the stops for this as well. So we have a new space exhibition that'll be open at a time with an exhibit called Sun, Earth, and Universe. We're bringing back our Hubble experience and a brand new virtual reality simulator that will put you in the Apollo 11 mission in virtual reality, launch you into space, get you onto the moon. So a great new experience that we're doing there, plus special events during the day and a special happening that we're planning that I can't tell you about just yet.
I understand that you do some workshops throughout the city.
Well, the Fleet is not just the building here in the park. We are actually a county-wide organization. So we're working in neighborhoods all the way from San Ysidro up to Escondido, all the way out to El Cajon, all the way to the ocean, all the way and all across the county, bringing the experiences we can indirectly to neighborhoods. And then the opportunity of the Fleet is the first Tuesday of every month, we are free. come on in to remove all the economic barriers that are there. You can come on and explore all the exhibitions for the entire day.
So for anyone who maybe hasn't visited the Fleet Science Center recently, tell us about the new additions that you're most excited about.
Well, we've got a lot of new stuff, and we're always trying to add new things as well. So we have our Don't Try This at Home live show, which is an exciting live stage show that we haven't done in a while. We've got our new Pause Play exhibition, which is these huge playground experiments that you can do yourselves with your families, with your kids. We have our new films, so Superpower Dogs. If you're a dog fan, you've got to see this IMAX film. Just remember to bring tissues. And a new film we're going to open this summer called Turtle Odyssey, which is going to follow a turtle, a sea turtle, from its hatching as an egg through its entire life on the IMAX screen. So we're always looking to create new experiences, new opportunities for people to engage both here at the Fleet and out across San Diego County.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
Great job.
Okay.
Everybody felt they had a piece of it, and they did.
It all begins with the immersive film Chasing the Moon.
That's the first time I understood what it meant to smell fear.
It continues with Nova, the Planets.
What we found was staggering.
The stunning dramatization of 8 days to the moon and back, and so much more. The PBS Summer of Space.
Tune in or stream. Starts July 8th, only on KPBS.
For the first time, a woman will lead a U.S. Army Infantry Division, and it will happen here in Southern California. The California National Guard says Brigadier General Laura Yeager will take on the new role later this month. She's a former Black Hawk helicopter pilot and served in Iraq. Yeager will lead the 40th Infantry Division based in Los Alamitos. Over the weekend, the San Luis Rey Mission hosted the 23rd annual Intertribal Powwow. KPBS video journalist Andy Duklith stopped by to get to know the sights and sounds of the Native American celebration.
So powwows have been around since the beginning of time.
Powwow, first and foremost, used to be, is a dance competition.
We are very passionate about our cultures, our tribal traditions, and where we're from. I enjoy the camaraderie, the atmosphere.
We have a variety of vendors selling their goods that they spend all year making.
Are we ready to powwow? I'm Randy Pico. I'm the MC. I'm very happy and honored to be here. I'm a local Luiseño. I'm here with Chuck Cadat. He's from Standing Rock Sioux, and he's a traditional northern dancer. And we're very happy to have him here all the way from the Dakotas. Coming in. Beautiful sight, beautiful sight. Here come our mid-traditional dancers.
The opening of this year's powwow, we are pleased to announce the first time ever a female member of the tribe will get to escort the flag bearers. They chose my daughter, Christina.
Now I'm nervous. The significance for today's moment will be, for me, it's really representing duality, men and women, both tribal members. So we are all a whole family here, so that's why it's really meaningful for me.
Tribal flag, Christina Villalobos.
We couldn't be more proud. I couldn't be more proud.
You are here. Send a message out. Come on down to San Luis Rey.
I think one of the largest misconceptions is that we are people of the past.
The news about Standing Rock is still ongoing. The tribal funding for the indigenous colleges, they're being cut. We're being kind of pushed back through our education, through our land use, and we have to protest against the parks being open for hunting.
Do you see an end in sight?
Oh yeah.
What do you hope will happen?
We get a new president. Bringing in the Eagle staff, the captain of the local band, Mel Vernon. We're so low a percentage of the masses of this great country now, but we are very passionate about our cultures, our tribal traditions, and where we're from.
It's a current culture that's vital, beautiful, and we'll take every opportunity we can to celebrate the fact that we've survived.
It's really just a way to incorporate the community, to let them know, hey, we're here, this is our culture, we'd love you to be a part of it.
Another powwow will happen in Imperial Beach this weekend. U.S. Customs and Border Protection says a cyber attack targeted pictures of people crossing the border. The agency says the pictures show people in vehicles traveling in and out of the U.S. The pictures were stolen from a subcontractor. Customs and Border Protection says the company was not following security and privacy rules set by the agency. Last week, the FCC voted to allow phone carriers to do more to block robocalls. It's an attempt to cut down on harassment and potential scams. Marketplace has more on protecting family members from fraud, especially as they get older.
In 2018, the Federal Trade Commission received 3 million complaints of scams. Over at the FBI last year, they got 1.5 million complaints of just online fraud, with losses of $7.5 billion. Even though people of all ages and incomes are scammed, the group for whom the typical loss is by far the highest are people in their 80s. We're exploring the subject, which experts are now calling age-associated financial vulnerability, in our special series. It's titled Brains and Losses. The big question, how do we protect ourselves and our loved ones? Now, my suggestion is have the talk. This talk is about when and how a person would want help from people they trust managing their more day-to-day financial decisions. Here are some questions you might ask. As you get older, what are important things to you to spend your money on? If your family has to get directly involved with your money decisions, when do you want that to happen? And who's in that conversation? Now, here's one piece of the talk that I had with my own dad while he was visiting his old stomping grounds in Brooklyn. So let's talk here. The scam attempts are not going to slow down. They're coming into my phone, too. Right. The phone rings, things come in. I mean, what are you going to do in the future to keep absolutely sure that you're protected and don't lose money?
Well, two things. One is to continue to try to cut these people off before they even start. I think that's the simplest
Don't
thing.
engage.
Don't engage. I think
good
do
strategy.
not engage.
Yeah.
I'm very skeptical of phone calls that I don't know the person or I don't know. And so I often will say, I do not respond to unsolicited phone calls. Yeah. You know.
And you got to watch the emails, too.
Oh, yeah, of course, the emails, yeah. If I don't recognize the name, and they have a button in which you can press and will say, is this spam, do you want to unsubscribe? So I often do that.
Bringing up money issues and scam prevention before anyone's lost money is vastly easier than later, when suspicions and perceived judgment can contaminate the conversation. Most important thing, a person should be encouraged to draw up a plan for managing finances later in life. And they should have support, so families be around, present, and available. My dad and I talk more about films and politics than we do about money, but it's good to know that if something ever came up, we're on the same page.
You can hear more stories from Marketplace during KPBS Morning Edition. Now here's a recap of tonight's top stories.
For people on the eastern side of San Diego County. In fact, we are under an excessive heat warning, and that is going to be for these desert. It's going to last from tonight and even into tomorrow, with temperatures soaring into the 100s. Our overnights staying around the 80s. Here is a look at our satellite and radar. Not much going on as far as precipitation. It is going to stay dry, and that's really the case for much of the southwest. We have a big ridge in the jet stream that allows this warm flow to come up from the south. And also, we have a very light wind coming out and keeping that marine layer at bay. It's going to be a little bit foggy, perhaps a couple of clouds tonight. 65 degrees for the low temperature in the metro. Oceanside at 60 degrees, and in Ramona, 61. Mount Laguna sitting at 60, but Borrego Springs close to 80. Now, tomorrow, high pressure is dominating. It is going to stay sunny, dry, and we have that offshore flow, so temperatures will continue to creep up. We should be around 70 for our high in San Diego this time of year, but we will reach 77 degrees. It's going to remain mostly sunny. Ramona at 95 and El Cajon 93. Borrego Springs cooking at 110. Mostly sunny skies. Now, by late week, we're still under the same pattern. We have this big ridge in the jet stream here, so we still have that very warm influence coming in out of the south. Expect to see temperatures cooling down slightly each day. By the weekend, we're going to be in those low 70s with mostly sunny conditions. Inland will be in the 90s on Tuesday, but then cooling down. Much more comfortable by the weekend in the upper 70s. In the deserts, it is going to be hot. We are talking triple digits each day with blazing sunshine. Again, make sure you drink plenty of water and cool down. In the mountains, we go from the 80s to those low 70s, staying sunny and bright. For KPBS News, I'm Erin Calandra. Back to you.
Here's tonight's top stories. A small brush fire broke out this afternoon in North County. About 15 acres burned near a country club in Palma Valley. The fire comes during a time of excessive heat and an elevated fire risk. No new tariffs on Mexico. Instead, Mexico's National Guard is being deployed to stop migrants from traveling to the U.S. The move is part of an agreement reached by the Trump administration and the Mexican government. Mexico will also expand a program that allows the U.S. to send migrants to Mexico to wait for their asylum cases. For the first time, the U.S. Army, the California National Guard says Brigadier General Laura Yeager will lead the 40th Infantry Division. The unit is based in Los Alamitos. Yeager will be the first female infantry commander. You can find tonight's stories on our website, kpbs.org/evening edition. Thanks for joining us. Have a great night.